We hope that they will be productive in 2 years, but at least we may use this rejected water. Regarding the rejected water, the promoting and station are not very well used. That's the reality. I have figures that come from the institutions. It's not my personal figures. Indeed, though these quantities are important, water desalination represents a potential of 180 steps, all steps included, and it is not very well used, at the exception of the environmental period. And currently, the infrastructure are doing their job mainly for the environment. We process or treat water and we throw it. And shouldn't. It is released in nature. That's the right word. Or at least we did something positive for the environment. Unfortunately, this water can be better used in other sectors, and I will mention that in a few slides. The water treatment station. Though we had with a potential of 90 million of square meter or cubical meter, and we have 800 million of cubical meter, it's a huge potential. This rejection water can be used, and this potential can reach 1.3 cubical kilometer, and this treatment water is huge, and that can be of a value. Where can we use this water? We can use this water in agriculture. That's the topic of mine. So the volume of treated water in irrigation in 2019 was 12 million cubical meter. We were only able to irrigate 11,000 hectares only. From this 12 million can represent only 5% of the processed water. The rest is thrown in nature, and that represents 0.8 cubical kilometer for 269,000 hectares. It is a very important percentage, and that is what is being irrigated. These waters have served to protect the environment and biodiversity, but it will be good for this water to be used and not released in nature, instead to protect the environment. Where to use this treated water or purified water? Most of the time people think that this water can be only used for irrigation. That's not true. There are about 40 areas where this purified water can be used without any problem. We need to accept that, we need to understand that. According to some specialists of the area, water purification is an efficient option. Why? Because this technique represents the best way to promote this water that is rejected. Unfortunately, I have only 5 minutes left and 13 slides. That is the best way to promote and protect this water. This rejection water in all forms while protecting the environment. So indeed, this purified water are not for the irrigation only. They can be used, as I said before, in 30 areas. And they should be used to protect the environment. We protect the environment with this rejection water against any waste of the land in humid, and to protect the biodiversity and so on. Moreover, from the economic point of view, this water can be used in other areas, such as, next slide, they can be used, all these areas, like industry, irrigation of harvests, irrigation of forests, and trees that can be used in the industry or refrigerating devices, parts, to clean the pavement and streets of the municipalities, to counter fires, compacting, the ground compacting, and public works. You know, we are always looking for underground waters. Instead of, we can serve this water, can use to add to the underground water. This water can be used and should have, the only exception is that this water should not have any chemical product. How to master the key factor, that implies a better use of this purified water. We must improve the use of water, efficiency of the use of this water. It is to well use of cubic meter. Every drop of water must be protected and must be well used. This challenge is possible, but we have to abide and implement the basic rules for water in adapted areas. And one of these areas is irrigation is the most important, but it's not the only one. And that's why we must have transportation pipelines from the station to the place where the water is going to be used. Unfortunately, all the stations in Algeria, we have 2 to 3, have pipelines only 2 to 3. We must set up duct or pipelines to transport water to be used everywhere throughout the country. Third part, and that's the last part. What are the conclusions and perspectives? Located, as I said from the beginning, to conclude, Algeria is located in the MENA region, known by drought, a real permanent drought. Algeria is knowing a real lack of water. However, it is not as disastrous as we may think, because we always lived in Algeria. It's not because we have an important drought this year. We had water stress since last year, that it is the end of the world. No, this drought, this stress water has been ongoing for the last 5 years. I hope that more effort is made to change the behaviors and to have a better use of water. There is a real lack of water, but it's not disastrous because it doesn't go back to today. Algeria's lack of water has been ongoing for a long time. Currently, what are the problems that we meet? They're more technical, legislative, organizational, social, economic, and other issues. In other terms, the problem is all our business. It is we are all involved. We must own this issue. What we need to do, the user and the managers must put their effort together to reduce the lack of water intensity, underscoring to reduce the intensity. Algeria will always suffer from this water stress. However, we have to have a better management and to prepare with all the means we have to permanently live with this danger of being thirsty. It is wrong. It is pejorative. It's not to be thirsty. Algeria will always have something to drink. But as I said at the beginning, the consuming sector, that is agriculture, and other sectors that may suffer from lack of water. Agriculture is consuming a lot of water. The water print is 1,400 per person and per 1,400 million per day and per person. Mr. Hattabi, we said that it's 300. What comes this, the 1,000 per year? Unfortunately, no one is talking about this issue. It is a phenomenon. We use 300% of the water in Algeria comes from, and we import more of this water than It's a virtual water. The virtual water import 42 million per year. And I maintain what I said, and I'm accountable. Algeria imports 42 billion of cubical meter of food, consumable, non-consumable, when we mobilize of 7 billion, 79 million billion. Please check the water fingerprint. Algeria is in the middle. America's spend more, India a little bit less. We must, in the future, so whatever is pertaining to water, we have to take into consideration virtual waters that would allow us to maintain our position. And if we didn't have oil and gas, Algeria would have disappeared, because Algeria imports what doesn't need to be imported. Algeria imports 3 times what it is used in dams. Algeria received 220 million of water. What we mobilize is 11.6 that is renewable. If I add 5 billion in the south, that represents 18, 19 million. I think it's my last slide, and I'm over. And to end, I said that the existence and the place of Algeria depends on the command of the water we have. Indeed, this lack of water, or this water we have, is quite important. If it is well managed, it will be good. If it is not well managed, it will be bad. We always thought that we had a lot of water in Algeria. If you were prepared 20 years ago, and I remember 20 years ago in 2000, 2001, Algeria planned to import water through tankers. So people who knew about it. Fortunately, all the officials of Algeria were against the idea of importing water from abroad. And it is important to set in place water desalination stations. And we will keep doing that. So 45 the Saudi Arabia has been using water desalination for the 45 last years, and they have no more water stress. It is important to use wisely the water we have, and we must be smart. Our consumption must be smart. Thank you for your attention. Unfortunately, the time that is allocated.
Thank you very much, Professor Ibrahim Mohoush. I renew my thanks twice, 2 times, 3 times. Why? Because first, for your excellent presentation, taking into consideration all the sides. Thank you very much again to respect the time. You have been very accurate in matter of time. And the third thanks is because of, or it's through different types, different citation quotes you have given about also the future projections that you have given. That's why I will move now to the following presentation, which is a video conference. It will be given by Mr. Dr. Garut Shoaib from the University of Okan in Istanbul, that will tell us about the proposal of the global model for the eco-town planning in the sub-Saharan African region, including and there is the case of the city of Adarar that we all know and everybody knows and heard about Adarar, the case of Adarar. Mr. Garut, I give you the floor, waiting to organize yourself, and we'll hear you, we'll follow you. Welcome again, Mr. Garud. You've got 15 to 20 minutes. Everybody is listening carefully to you. You have the floor, Mr. Garud.
Bien sûr, prenez 30 secondes pour vous présenter vous-même si vous avez des choses à ajouter. Monsieur Garut, allumez votre micro.
Please switch on your mic at the bottom of your screen. Please switch on or turn on your mic.
You hear me? Okay. We can start.
Je vais le mettre en base de lui, comme si j'étais en visioconférence. Augmentez, monsieur le secrétaire, un peu votre volume.
Also, try to, please, Mr. Guru, try to turn up your sound.
You hear me? Okay.
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Yes, but not very well.
Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
In the name of Allah the Merciful.
First of all, I like to thank the National Economic, Social and Environmental Council, which gives you the opportunity to present our research. And I like to thank all the person present in this event. Firstly, during the last century, human activity has caused many environmental problems such as climate change, global warming, migration, and disaster. Unfortunately, the southern countries are most affected by this phenomena. The importance of reducing the effect of this phenomena, especially in the field of energy and the water consumption, was not given due to the awareness of its impact on the water resource in the future. The outlook is not optimistic. Climate change models suggest that rainfall could decrease by more than 20% by 2050. Which could excavate water storage in different basins of Algeria. Thus, crisis will inevitably affect in the lifestyle and social stability in the country. The social challenge for Algeria in the coming decade will be to adapt to this decline of renewable water resource. The state will have to manage this resource carefully, mobilization of no conventional water resource. The development of no conventional resource and management of water demand will lead to increased energy consumption in the water sector. This consumption will amount to approximately 20% of the country energy consumption. Thus, there will be a need to search for more sustainable urban model. The aim of this research is to define new model of eco-city in the African desert, and especially in the southern of Algeria. As you know, Algeria is 18% of Sahara. So to improving the use of sustainable technology in urban area can play a major role in reducing energy need, in addition to reducing the effects of urban population growth and global energy consumption and climate change issues. Addressing to effective solution and working toward finding model for cities that are more environmentally efficient. So the major problem is how can you using the original sustainable technique and ecological urbanism in the future architecture and urban development. For that, the solution of today is the sustainable city characterized by environmental commitment throughout reducing energy consumption and taking care of the environment and improving the building as diverse as solar architecture, urban environment, environmental quality, architecture and urban atmosphere, etc. So we can ask the question, what are the architecture and urban planning we can achieve our goals? For achieve this goal, we are make plan of our research. Firstly, the first part of our research is defining the ecological characteristic and urbanism problem in this region of African Saharan region. We can ask me why we are focused for African region. So we, as you know, the Africa country will be in the next century the continent where we have many problems of growth of population and urban problems. And the second part is to analyze and understand why different ecological and eco-city problem in the world, and analyzing in the last century why this experience have not successful in many countries, and we try to define different problems. And in the last part of our research is we are